What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk. My name is Joey Petersen. A little bit of a different setup than usual. We're at home, but we got a pretty big report, so I wanted to get you guys a video as quickly as possible. And speaking of that, we got you covered better than anywhere else on this platform right here. We're growing like crazy. We're not going to stop anytime soon. So if you guys have not yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Daily content only on the Tennessee Volunteers. So we got a bombshell report via SEC Unfiltered. Chris Phillips that has to do with Josh Heupel and the LSU football coaching hiring process. Now, this isn't the first time that we've talked about, Josh Heupel possibly being a candidate that other openings would be looking at. I think we discussed it for the first time just a couple of weeks ago when Andy and Ari, two lead college football analysts for On3, they were saying, I'm a little bit surprised that Josh Heupel has not been looked at. And then we got an article from The Athletic that says that teams should be looking at Josh Heupel, a guy who's had an unbelievable tenure so far with the Tennessee Volunteers, given what the state of the program was when he took that over. Well, like I said, today's comes from Chris Phillips with SEC Unfiltered, and he's quoted in saying, a really interesting name, guys, is Josh Heupel over at Tennessee. That was a name that I've heard, and seriously, they, meaning LSU, think they can get him. And again, don't shoot the messenger here, but I've heard that potentially Josh Heupel would at least entertain the conversation. He's thought about leaving Knoxville. So I'm not saying that it's going to happen. What I've been told is there's an understanding in the industry that for the right job, Josh Heupel would be, quote, willing to leave. So again, take it for what it's worth. I think the timing could line up, especially if LSU was calling and seriously offering him that gig. I think it's at least something you've got to think about if you're Heupel. So it was interesting to hear that name. I'm not saying that he leaves, but when you think about the expectations, the Tennessee fans, and trying to match those expectations, look, they don't want to go 8-4 anymore, but it's hard to get to the playoffs every single year, like I think most Vol fans want, so it's a little bit easier down in Baton Rouge. And again, that's not a dig at Tennessee at all. That's just a fact. First off, I want to push back on kind of the last statement that he said, as if LSU fans' expectations would be any different than Tennessee fans, given the fact that they made an SEC championship 3 years ago with the head coach that they just fired in the middle of the season. And so to say that the expectations are different down in LSU, I just think is 100% completely false. But there's a lot to get in here with this. I want to start off why I don't think Josh Heupel would entertain this or would take the job. And I've got a couple of reasons for why I believe that. Number one, there is such a lack of stability right now at LSU. Like, it's unbelievable. They just fired their athletic director a couple of weeks ago. The governor of Louisiana was talking about how he's going to be in charge of the coaching search and not the athletic director. Like, do you think that that is something that Josh Heupel would want to step into? Because I personally don't. He's got a setup right now in Knoxville, Tennessee, where he's got a ton of job security. Sure, there might be a portion of this fan base that wants Josh Heupel to be fired. That's not the majority. There might be a portion even bigger of this fan base that wants some changes to be made. And I find myself in that portion, right? But let's be realistic here. Josh Heupel, his job security, it is at an all-time high right now in Knoxville, Tennessee. The athletic director, Danny White, is the one that brought him with him from UCF. Okay, I think you got to think about that relationship in terms of this decision as well. Is he just going to walk away from that to jump into a job at LSU where the governor is saying he's got as big of a say in this coaching hire and in LSU athletics as the athletic director does? That, to me, does not make a lot of sense. Additionally, right now, Tennessee has the 8th-ranked recruiting class when it comes to 2026. I don't think that's something he's going to leave because I believe right now he feels like Tennessee is just hitting their stride when it comes to high school recruiting. And I would 100% agree with that as well. And then also, I don't want to say the LSU job is a lateral move because I do believe the recruiting in Louisiana is just better than it is at Tennessee. They might have the same NIL opportunities. I believe they've got a very similar stadium atmosphere. If Tennessee's not the best college football stadium, or if it's tied with anybody for the best college football stadium and environment in the country, which I don't believe it is. But if people do believe that it is, then it's going to be LSU that people think it's tied with, right? So the environment's very similar. The NIL structure is very similar. The passionate fan base is very similar. The only thing that LSU, in my opinion, has the upper hand on Tennessee is the recruiting in Louisiana, okay? Because they don't have to recruit against much or anything really at all within the state, and just the talent in the state of Louisiana is better in the high school ranks than the talent is in the state of Tennessee. And that's indisputable, okay? It is what it is. It has been forever, and it always will be. They just have better talent there, just like they do in Florida and Texas and in California. But the only difference with Louisiana compared to those other places, those other states, is that it's a little bit smaller of a base, okay? A little bit smaller of a state. You don't have as many athletes, but the talent still is great there. But in this current age of college football, is that enough to leave a really stable situation that you've got, really great NIL opportunities that you've got, and still a great talent pool in the state of Tennessee and all the bordering states around it? To me, it's not worth it. And I don't think it would be worth it in Josh Heupel's eyes either. I don't think he would look at that LSU job and think it's so much of a better job opportunity than Tennessee to leave that. Because right now, let's call a spade a spade. The recruiting is doing great. The team's still winning on the football field. The environment is electric. They're selling out stadiums. They might expand Neyland, which is kind of what Danny White's been talking about this week, because the season ticket list is 27,000 people deep. Knoxville, Tennessee is a really good place to have a job right now, right? And sure, the fan base might have unrealistic expectations, but I would argue that's what makes this fan base so great, ladies and gentlemen, is that we want the best for this football team. And that when they do lose big games at home against opponents that we believe we're better in, you're going to be upset by it. I'm going to be upset by it. But that's just because we're a passionate fan base. I'm not saying they don't have that in LSU. I'm just saying there's not enough perks, in my opinion. There's not enough things better than the Tennessee job from an LSU perspective to warrant making a move away from the amount of stability that Josh Heupel has right now in Knoxville, Tennessee. Those are my thoughts on it, okay? It's an interesting report, though, and I believe that LSU is somewhat interested in Josh Heupel, because why wouldn't you be? He jumped into a very unstable situation in Knoxville, Tennessee, even more unstable than they've got right now in Baton Rouge. And 5 years later, this team is consistently a 9 to 10 win team. 8 wins at the least. You made the college football playoff last year with a quarterback who was not very good and a wide receiver room who was not very talented. Okay? And so I believe the report. I believe that they're interested in him, but I do not think that Josh Heupel should be interested in them, or at least entertain the conversation. Okay? Phillips does say, what I've been told, there's an understanding in the industry for the right job, Josh Heupel would be willing to leave. I don't know if that's LSU right now. Now let's play the hypothetical game. Say LSU makes a really good hire. Say there's a lot of stability. This guy lasts there for 5 years, but just cannot consistently get over that hump. And say 5 years from now, the LSU job is far more stable than it is right now. Maybe he'll listen to it then. I just don't think that's really realistic right now, okay? This might come back to bite me, but I feel very, very confident in saying Josh Heupel is not leaving Knoxville, Tennessee anytime soon. Who knows, though? Appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. Little at-home version, right? We usually only do these for the instant reactions. We'll have an instant reaction to tomorrow's game up on the channel in just a little bit. But I saw the news. I saw the report late last night and figured, you know what? I got to talk about that tomorrow, and hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like the video. If you're still watching, make sure to subscribe. This isn't our usual setup. You can go back to any video on the channel. You can see what it's usually like. We got a green screen graphics package, fully produced shows, and we deliver them to you on a daily basis. So again, if y'all have not joined us, make that change right now and hit that subscribe button.